Hello, everyone, and welcome to the spooky Criterion Connection. I'm Wade,
And I'm Joe.
and we're here to do our final Halloween movie of the 2024 season. We got a little thingy here, a jack-o'-lantern bucket, and we're here to do a Guillermo del Toro film. I think this is the last one until Shape of Water, which comes out next month. I think we've done all the Guillermo del Toro movies on the Criterion Collection so far, as of this recording.
Yeah.
We're doing The Devil's Backbone from 2001. It is a ghost story.
Sort of.
Sort of, yeah. It's what is a ghost?
It's a story of, it's a period movie that has ghosts in it.
Yeah, it happens in the Spanish Civil War. We have Carlos, this little, I believe he's 10.
It starts off with him getting dropped off by Ayala and I forgot the other guy's name. They are soldiers in the Civil War, and his dad was amongst their group, and his dad is dead, but he doesn't know. They do, and so they take him to the orphanage to drop him off.
Yep, and that's where it's an orphanage. Mostly, it's all boys, and it is taken care of by Federico Lupi, who is the older man. I think it was was it Caressis? I think his name was Casares. Yeah, he was also in Kronos, and he was also in Pan's Labyrinth, which is actually a couple years after this film. And we have
Jacinto, yeah.
What a bastard he is in this film.
Yeah. So he's the young man who kind of is a bit of a caretaker, because Casares is kind of the older, like, medical guy, professor in a way.
Yeah.
You have the principal and you have Alma, but Jacinto is basically like the young guy who just goes around fixing stuff.
Yeah.
Or so
handyman.
Sort of. Yeah.
He's a handyman to them, but he's a gold thief. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing, if you will.
Yeah, he's by far what we'll call a villain in this film.
Yeah, he is he takes a turn.
He's almost irredeemable.
Yes.
In just about every single way.
Yeah.
He's supposedly in love with the young lady who's like a teacher's assistant.
Yeah.
And he kind of snoops around, and you start seeing him snoop around a little bit. But he has these two friends who are also up to no good.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of warnings of, I don't really like those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And turns out, he grew up there. He hates it.
Yeah.
And there's like he has such a burning hatred that gets in the way of literally, like, that becomes his singular focus. It's not just because they start off by saying, like, I want to leave. Like, he wants to get out of here and start a new life. That's great. But what you find out, he's willing to do anything to make that happen.
Yes, and that kind of leads into the character of Santi, who is the ghost boy that's on all the promotional art. He is really spooky looking.
Mm-hmm.
There's moments where this movie is very spooky, like I think mostly in the kids' eyes, but also it's more unsettling on the adult eyes of like what Jacinto is doing, and just this general stuff that he has done, and the visuals and stuff like that. It's not as fantastical as like Pan's Labyrinth is.
No.
Or as like out there as Kronos or something like that. This is a very for the most part, a very grounded Guillermo del Toro film, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I'd argue, like, because Kronos is a grounded, like, kind of vampire film. This is far more, like I said, it's very similar to me. Like, I see a lot of parallels with Crimson Peak. Where it's very much something that could easily fall into the trap of being advertised.
Yeah.
Luckily, as far as I know, this film didn't have that like Crimson Peak did.
Yeah.
This one, I think people just kind of went in blind and got the story they got and enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, you know.
It's
it's a really interesting kind of coming of age tale.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, has that coming of age, like Stand By Me.
Yeah,
has that coming of age tale, but has that dark adult older undertone with it.
It's essentially like, it's like every kind of really great short story where it's like, this is the most important moment in this character's life.
Yeah,
and like what happens in the film very much backs that up. It's like, this is not a memory you're gonna forget anytime soon.
No. Great performances by pretty much almost everyone in this film, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I love the score of this film.
Yeah,
I thought it was a really good score. It's shot very well. I still lean more on the fantastical side of Guillermo del Toro, but I enjoyed this more. Kind of like, it's kind of a little tame for a Guillermo del Toro film. Like you mentioned Crimson Peak, I think this is even more tame than that.
Yeah, I can see that. It doesn't have a lot of the elements that Guillermo del Toro, I think, what his reputation brings, even though in watching his films, I find that he's far more subdued than his reputation gives him credit for.
It's mostly just Pan's Labyrinth is where most of it is coming from. But as you see, Kronos is kind of like, it's vampire movie, but it's very stripped down kind of a vampire movie, based on like a Dracula or a Nosferatu or a subspecies.
What I enjoy about his films, and I'm not the biggest Guillermo del Toro fan, I respect his work, but it's very much, I do like, he likes to do these alternative takes on things and like kind of change up a perspective or an idea and kind of flip it on its head.
So Joe, would you recommend this film to the general audience? And also maybe would you recommend it to, I know we're like close to the end of October, but for future 31 movies of Halloween or whatever, watch stuff?
That's a complicated question. For me at least, because my answer is more complicated than anything. I think it's worth watching for like a 31 Days of Halloween. It's got some moments that are kind of startling and unsettling. I believe, there's even been lists that talk about like the moments when like Santi appears are really scary. As for whether I'd recommend for the general audience, I'll say yeah. It's not going to be like a strong one. It's going to be more of a like, yeah, go ahead. It's not the first one I would lean to for a Guillermo del Toro film. But I think it's good. I think it's a good film, and I think it's worth watching.
I'd also recommend it. It's a light recommend. It's not, I feel like it's a middle of the road Guillermo del Toro film for me. I think some people loved it more than I would like it. For 31 Days, I think I would recommend it. It's a good palate cleanser. If like, let's say you're watching like some really intense, like dark stuff, like In the Mouth of Madness or like Prince of Darkness. Like, I feel like it's a good like palate cleanse because it's not super in your face horror. It's more of a coming of age story that has horror elements to it. So I would recommend it. More of like, you need that nice little palate cleanse between movies. But that's our thoughts on Devil's Backbone. Let us know in the comment section below what you think about the film. Is it your favorite Guillermo del Toro film? What is your favorite Guillermo del Toro's film? Make suggestions. We're heading into a new year, so new year, new movies we do. And be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Follow us on Instagram, Condish Productions. Follow us on Letterboxd. Just search Criterion Connection. You'll find all the movies we've done. Check out Butterfly of Black Velvet. And that's it. So until next time, I'm Wade.
And I'm still Joe.
And we will see you later.